Our story begins with the Lesserina birds who decide to migrate after the winter season to return to their homeland. Their leader flies at the front, warning them to stay alert because Shadow is surely waiting for them, ready to strike. Shadow stands on the island, and as soon as he spots the flock, he says that his lunch has finally arrived. He goes to Yasko, whom he keeps locked in a cage, telling him he'll set him free because there's a flock nearby he wants to hunt. However, Yasko says he is exhausted and his leg is tied, suggesting Shadow find someone else. Shadow immediately loses his temper and throws him toward the flock. The leader keeps dodging him until he manages to land the flock with minimal losses. Once they reach the island, he tells his wife that he should have been a better leader and didn't want to lose anyone at all. His wife comforts him, saying it wasn't his fault and that he did everything he could. Afterward, they dance together until he suggests they see how the place looks now. He finds that the land looks exactly as it did before winter. They both go to check on the egg they left in their nest, and suddenly they see the egg moving. They watch in awe until their son hatches. They name him Bluey. His father tells him he will teach him how to be a leader like him so he can lead the flock one day. Bluey says he's ready to learn. The two walk together to a tree, where his father teaches him some moves and how to lure insects toward him. Later, Bluey goes to drink water and is surprised to find Plover next to him. They talk and walk together all day while his father watches from afar. When they return home at the end of the day, the leader tells his wife to sleep and rest while he guards the place, just in case any of Shadow's followers try something. He stays on guard until he sees Yasko approaching. The leader tells him to leave because he knows he works for Shadow, but Yasko claims he no longer works for him and has become a vegetarian. He warns the leader that Shadow is planning an attack. The leader tells him to leave, saying he knows how to handle Shadow. After Yasko leaves, the leader finds his son awake. Bluey asks, "Dad, what does coward mean?" His father explains that they are brave birds who travel across continents and oceans, while cowards are the opposite. They don't even travel in winter. He tells Bluey to go back to sleep because he has training in the morning. Indeed, the next day, Bluey goes to learn how to fly. He stands there, terrified of the idea, but Plover is with him, reassuring him. Meanwhile, the leader has set a trap for Shadow, just as Yasko warned. Shadow arrives and the leader tries to catch him in a net, but Shadow manages to bypass it. At that moment, Bluey is trying to fly, but unfortunately, Shadow spots him, grabs him, and flies away. His father reaches them at the last second and rescues him, but Bluey falls into the sea. Sadly, Shadow manages to get rid of the father. A feather falls from the father, and Bluey takes it, mourning his loss. He returns to his mother but refuses to speak or say anything until Plover comes to him. She tells him that as the leader's son, he must become the new leader and that he needs to learn to fly. She takes him and keeps encouraging him, but he remains hesitant. Suddenly, a cat appears, snatches him, and runs to a nearby house. However, the residents of the house take Bluey, put him in a cage, and throw the cat outside. Seeing this, Plover returns to Bluey's mother and tells her that he was kidnapped by a cat. The mother breaks down, feeling she has lost both her son and her husband. She says they must migrate because they won't survive the winter. When Bluey wakes up, he finds himself in the cage. He looks out the window and sees the rest of his flock flying away. He realizes his family is leaving him behind and feels deeply saddened. He tries to escape by any means. The cat sneaks back into the house and tries to knock the cage over. Suddenly, the cage opens. Bluey jumps out and runs to the window, but it's closed. The cat lunges at him but accidentally opens the window and falls completely out of the house. Thus, Bluey gets rid of him. He rushes outside to catch up with his family, but the flock is already too far away. Bluey promises himself that he will meet them again one day. He returns sadly, holding his father's feather. As he ponders what to do, the feather blows away. He runs after it, determined not to lose it, but suddenly finds himself in the street surrounded by many cars. He sees some birds perched nearby who ask him, "Are you the one who defeated the cat and threw him out the window?" They explain that he won't survive the winter, which is why his family left, and ask what he's still doing here. He lies to them, saying he's staying because there is plenty of food. They inform him that all the shops will close in winter. He asks them about a place called Paradise Valley. The birds show him a map and tell him what to do. He thanks them and decides to start his journey to Paradise Valley. Bluey walks alone, terrified, until it starts to snow. He hides to the side, and when he wakes up the next day, the ground is covered in snow. He continues his journey but encounters a hawk in the sky that wants to kill him. Bluey runs, trying to escape, when suddenly a large bird with feathers like snow appears. He tells Bluey that he ruined his trap, then leaves. Bluey keeps going until he sees the hawk returning. He hides in a cave, which turns out to belong to the snow-feathered bird, whose name is Garen. When Garen wakes up and sees Bluey, he is shocked and angry, saying Bluey seems to follow him everywhere. Bluey tries to explain that he's misunderstood and that Shadow wants to eat him. Garen thinks for a moment. Shadow wants to eat Bluey, and he wants to eat Shadow. He decides to use Bluey as bait for a trap to catch Shadow. Garen tells Bluey to stay with him and to be silent because there's a fox nearby that would kill them if heard. They reach an open area where Garen tells Bluey to stand. He has explosives and plans to catch Shadow as soon as he arrives. Bluey likes the plan at first and agrees. While standing in the trap, Bluey hears a mouse crying for help. He rushes to the mouse and gives him a piece of wood to walk on, but the snow he was standing on collapses. Garen takes Bluey and warns him that winter is dangerous and advises him not to help anyone. As they walk, we see the fox following their tracks. Garen and Bluey rest in a cave. Garen tells Bluey that Paradise Valley has more villains than he imagines. Bluey asks about the enmity between Garen and Shadow, since they live far apart. Garen reveals that he once lived with his family in a cozy nest. One day while he was out getting food, Shadow attacked and killed all his children before Garen could stop him. Since then, he has lived only for revenge. Bluey shares that he also has a reason to live, a bird named Plover whom he loves and promised to see again. Garen tells him not to worry and promises to teach him how to fly the next day. However, a fox suddenly appears and snatches Garen away. Bluey is shocked. Garen yells for him to get the shell. Bluey blows into the shell, creating a loud sound that causes the snow beneath him to crack. The mouse he saved emerges and tells Bluey he came back to help him as a debt of gratitude. The mouse's whole family appears, telling Bluey not to fear. They will go to the fox and save his friend. They lead him to the fox's lair where they distract the fox, leading it on a chase. This allows Bluey to reach Garen. He tells him they must leave quickly, but Garen is injured and can't walk. Garen collapses at the cave entrance, saying he needs to rest. Bluey says he just needs some insects to recover and goes to search for some. However, a massive snowstorm hits. Bluey realizes he can't fight the storm and hides in a cave, only to discover it's Shadow's cave. Shadow is talking to himself. Bluey tries to move quietly, but accidentally knocks over a bone. Shadow rushes over, recognizes Bluey, and prepares to eat him, saying he won't escape this time. Before Shadow can strike, Garen arrives and knocks Shadow down. Garen wants his revenge but is too injured to move. Shadow easily overpowers him and grabs him by the neck. Bluey grabs the explosives, threatening to set them off. He hesitates, not wanting to hurt Garen, but finally throws them to the back of the cave. He and Garen jump out just as the cave explodes. On the ground, Garen says he's had enough and tells Bluey to continue to Paradise Valley, saying those in the sky will guide his way. Bluey is heartbroken and weeps for him. Bluey decides he must move before the snow buries him. After he leaves, Garen wakes up, revealing he just needed a nap and hadn't died. We see Bluey trekking through the snow until he finally collapses and falls asleep. He dreams of Plover talking to another bird, having forgotten him. He wakes up abruptly, declaring that his dream won't come true and he must reach them. He climbs a mountain, struggling through the falling snow. He falls again, the shell slipping from his hand. Thinking he is about to die, he closes his eyes. A passing deer sees him lying next to the shell. The deer picks him up on its antlers and carries him all the way to Paradise Valley. When the animals there see them, they ask the deer how such a bird survived the winter. The mice Bluey helped are there, as is Yasko, who escaped Shadow. They try to wake Bluey, but he doesn't stir. One of them suggests burying him. As they prepare to do so, Bluey wakes up and asks what they are doing. He tells them he's fine, just exhausted by the snow. The deer tells him the sun is out, meaning spring is starting and winter is over until next year. Hearing this, Bluey gets worried. If spring is tomorrow, his family will return, and Shadow will be waiting to kill them. He vows not to let that happen, but his problem is that he still can't fly. He sits alone, sad, until a sheep approaches him. The sheep tells him that if he loves someone in that flock, he must save her, and that one day he will fly like the others. He explains that all he needs is courage. Encouraged, Bluey keeps trying until he finally succeeds. He asks who will join him to stop Shadow, but no one responds. He sets off alone. His flock is nearing, with Plover leading them. Shadow waits to hunt them, but Bluey arrives. When his mother sees him, she can't believe her eyes and hugs him. Garen also appears, overjoyed that Bluey has learned to fly. Garen tries to strike Shadow but is overpowered. As Shadow beats Garen, Bluey distracts him. Bluey leads Shadow on a chase through the air. Garen tells Bluey to lead him toward the bell. Plover sees Bluey needs help and joins him. Together, they distract Shadow until he crashes into the bell and falls into a pit. Before he can climb out, Garen jumps on him to bury him in the pit. Bluey returns to live with his flock. He confesses his love to Plover, and she admits she loves him too. Garen says goodbye, telling Bluey he knows where to find him whenever he wants to visit. From then on, all the birds live together in peace, free from the threat of the hawk. And that is the end of our story. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive the latest videos.